Muddy Waters, often referred to as the father of Chicago blues, was not just a legendary musician, but also a shrewd businessman. His influence on the music industry extends beyond his electrifying blues sound to his groundbreaking business acumen, which set him apart from many of his contemporaries. In this video, we'll explore how Muddy Waters revolutionized the blues and built an enduring legacy by mastering both his craft and the business of music. Muddy Waters, the ultimate music businessman, the rise of a blues pioneer. Born McKinley Morganfield in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, in 1913, Muddy Waters grew up in the heart of the Mississippi Delta, where the blues was more than a genre. It was a way of life. Picking up the guitar at an early age, Muddy began honoring or honing his skills while listening to the likes of Son House and Robert Johnson, whose raw Delta blues would heavily influence his style. By the early 1940s, Waters had moved to Chicago, where the blues was evolving into a new electrified form. This was where his business instincts began to shine. Unlike many musicians who struggled to adapt to new trends, Waters embraced innovation. He amplified his guitar, creating a powerful sound that became the cornerstone of Chicago blues. This ability to evolve and stay relevant would become a hallmark of his career. Understanding the power of ownership. One of Muddy Waters' most notable contributions to the music business was his understanding of ownership. In an era where many African American musicians were exploited by record labels, Muddy knew the importance of retaining control over his music. His early recordings for the Library of Congress, made by folklorist Alan Lomax in 1941, gave him a glimpse into the recording process and the value of intellectual property. When he began recording for Chess Records in the late 1940s, Muddy negotiated deals that allowed him to earn royalties, a rarity for artists of his name or of his time. Hits like Hoochie Coochie Man, Manish Boy, and I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man became classics, cementing his status as a blues legend while ensuring he was fairly compensated for his work. Building a brand, the legacy, or the Muddy Waters legacy. Muddy Waters wasn't just a musician, he was a brand. He understood the importance of image and persona in the music business. His stage name itself was a calculated move to create a memorable identity. Dressed sharply in tailored suits, Muddy exuded professionalism and confidence, projecting an image that commanded respect. His band was equally iconic, featuring future legends like Little Walter, Otis Spann, and Willie Dixon. Waters was meticulous about his sound, assembling some of the best talent in the industry to back him up. This not only enhanced his music, but also positioned him as a leader in the blues community. Collaborations and mentorship. Muddy Waters' ability to collaborate and mentor up and coming artists further exemplifies his business acumen. He wasn't afraid to share the spotlight, often bringing younger musicians into his fold. His influence on artists like Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, and even the Rolling Stones, who named themselves after his song Rolling Stone, is undeniable. By fostering these relationships, Waters expanded his influence and ensured the longevity of the blues genre. His mentorship also allowed or helped create a network of musicians who revered him, amplifying his reach and solidifying his reputation as a pioneer. touring, expanding the blues market. Muddy Waters was one of the first blues artists to recognize the potential of international markets. In the 1950s and 60s, he toured extensively, bringing his electrified blues to audiences in Europe and beyond. His 1972 performance at the Montreux Jazz Festival is a prime example of his global appeal. These tours not only introduced the world to Chicago blues, but also established Muddy as a global ambassador for the genre. His ability to connect with diverse audiences and adapt his performances to different cultural contexts showcased his marketing genius. Navigating challenges. Lessons from Muddy Waters' career. Despite his many successes, Muddy Waters faced significant challenges in the music business. Like many African American artists of his time, he dealt with systemic racism and exploitation by industry executives. Yet, his resilience and determination allowed him to navigate these obstacles and emerge as a trailblazer. One of the most notable examples of his resilience came in the 1960s when interest in the blues waned. Muddy Water adapted by collaborating with younger artists and embracing the burgeoning rock scene. His album Electric Mud 1968, though controversial among purists, showcased his willingness to experiment and appeal to a new generation of fans. Muddy Waters and the modern music industry. Muddy Waters' legacy continues to inspire musicians and entrepreneurs in the modern music industry. His emphasis on ownership, branding, and adaptability are lessons that resonate with today's artists, navigating the complexities of streaming platforms, social media, and global markets. Many or multiple artists have followed his footsteps, advocating for fair compensation and leveraging their brands to build empires. Muddy Waters laid the groundwork for these modern music moguls by proving that a musician could also be a savvy businessman.